Hola a todos, soy Señor Papi. Let me ask you a question. Are you struggling to take down Brachydios? Well, in this Monster Hunter guide, we're going to be breaking down everything you're going to need to know. From his moves, his weaknesses, map location, the best gear to wear and the best weapons to bring. We're also going to be diving into explosive rivalries between this slimy, blast brute and the other monsters. So, whether you're a beginner and looking to hunt him for the very first time, or you're an experienced hunter and looking for a few extra tips, this walkthrough's got you covered. Let's get hunting! Okay amigos, so you really want to take him down? The big blue brute with fists full of explosive slime? I don't blame you. After you do eventually have the down or the capture, you'll have access to some of the best armor and weapons going forwards from this point in the game. First things first. What's Brachydios all about? This guy is the ultimate brawler. His head and fist are all covered in explosive slime and he's not afraid to share it. He's a brute wyvern, known for an aggressive in-your-face fighting style. So like Mike Tyson, but not the Logan Paul Mike Tyson, the early 90s Mike Tyson, the one with an uppercut that could generally kill you. Fun fact, the slime that he excretes from his body to give him an explosive characteristic is actually mucus. Gross, yes. Dangerous? Absolutely. You will be originally fighting him in the Elder's Recess, but he is also known to be in the Guiding Lands. Look for any parts of the map that has lava, or if you hear any explosions far off in the distance. You'll typically find him causing mayhem in them areas. But for the sakes of this video, he will be in the Elder's Recess. Check zones 8 and 9, but from my experience, the guy likes to walk around, so you can find him anywhere and everywhere fighting everything and anything. Now, I think it's most important that we look at what you need to bring to this fight first before we can even start looking at tactics, his moves or anything. So, the perfect set of gear I'm going to be wearing is stuff that you could easily grind at this point in the game. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out there, everything is totally attainable with just a little bit of grinding and a little bit of hunting here and there. Now, me being a hammer main, it's all about the raw damage on the weapon, which quite easily for this point is the Gilded Palace Mace. KO Charm is perfect, gives me free slugger and I don't have to do anything else. You can take whatever you want as your mantle, but I recommend these two. Now, straight off the bat, the most important pieces in this armor set are the helmet and the chest, the Oregon armor, because they will give you maximum blast resistance. I decided to change it up because normally I go with the Bambaro armor to give me Mushroom Mancer, but this time I've gone with the Brachydios armor to give me earplugs, because I know that he likes to fight Tigrex, and if anyone knows Tigrex, he will just roar and roar and roar, and it will just stun lock you and you will take a lot of damage. Other key stats go without saying: health boost, flinch free is a very good one, recovery up was just a bonus to have for when I was healing. In my decoration, it was just everything I was sort of explaining. I have Elementalist because I was going for the maximum raw damage I could on the axe, and then I just topped up everything else. I hadn't noticed, but Flight Gem is actually very good for a hammer because I spend an obscene amount of time in the air, and the extra 30% bonus is really good. So, I recently found out that only 3.2% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, which, when I think about it, still a hell of a lot of people. But I would really like to be able to get that number up just a little bit. I have a goal of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So, for a little channel like mine, if you like, subscribe and ring the notification bell, it would do a world of wonder for me. And I'm sure Loquito would love you even more for it. Wouldn't you, boy?
Yo! You about done? Tick-tock, motherfucker!
Hello there.
Now, like fighting any monster really, I start the fights all in the same way. I always put my attack boost on and my armor boost on. It's just a little bit extra, makes me feel a little bit safer before the encounter begins. I was lucky in this start where I happened to find high ground and I was able to get a leaping attack and a mount straight away into the fight. Now, after this fantastic mount, it gives you a real good picture of his body shape and where the attacks are going to come from. You'll see the 3 green areas at the front of his body. These are infected with his mucus, with the slime blight, or blast blight, I don't really know what it's called. But if you break any of these parts permanently, he will not be able to infect them with the blast or slime blight again. So by focusing a lot of your damage on these parts will actually pay more reward. By being more aggressive, you'll be able to break these parts and make the fight a lot easier. Now, as a rule of thumb when hunting Brachydios, I try to focus more of my damage on his arms first before then targeting the head. It's a little bit different for a hammer main because normally you do hunt the head more and try to break the head more often, but I feel like more of his slime is spread through his fists or his arms than his head. Then he does this and proves my theory completely wrong. But it does show you here that you get a good amount of time before the slime on the ground explodes. I think it's 5 to 6 seconds, which in hindsight is forever, but when you get knocked down and you're laying in it, it's an instant tick and it's very, very annoying. Some things you may not know about him is,
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
considering his size, he does move about the map very freely with these side steps and large leaps. Try to predict where you're too far away from him, because he generally always goes for a leap attack if you are too far away, and it's surprisingly quick, to be honest with you. Try and stay in his face as much as possible. Regardless of what weapon you're using, the key to fighting him is being as aggressive as he is, really.
Now for a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
Now, when you see Brachydios going a more yellowy orangey colour, that's when you know he's entered his enraged mode. When he enters his rage mode, he becomes faster, stronger, and his attack patterns become a lot less predictable. Like this move here, which I call the slime spread, is when he'll put both his fists into the ground and his head, and spread it in a carpet bomb type of motion. Luckily for me, I was far enough away where I was easily able to run between the blasts. The easiest way for me to knock him out of the enrage mode is either waiting, or you can use the field to your advantage. By using these flame toads here, I was able to knock him out by just hitting him. I understand that you can also get this done by using the crystals in the area below.
Got him.
And as I was saying earlier on, as you can see here, his right fist isn't glowing the same green as his left fist. This is because I was able to break it earlier on in the fight. And even though he tries to reapply his slime to both fists, it will only take to one fist. This means I'm going to be focusing mainly on the head from this point onwards, because it's going to make the fight a lot easier for me, because I know he's not going to be able to use his blast blight or his blast attacks to their fullest extent at this point. Part of being a good hunter as well is precision. Like if a monster's not moving and you're not able to hit him with falling boulders, there's an issue. But I have no idea truly how these missed. He was exhausted, standing in one spot and just nothing. It was at this point in the hunt where I felt earplugs made their biggest contribution, to me at least. Because apart from the main target being yourself, the hunter, Tigrex is also the next biggest monster in this arena. He invaded my fight no less than 3 times during this, and only in this encounter here that we're watching did he actually do any damage against Brachydios. He decided to become the worst type of pick-me girl. All he was able to do was to scream at Brachydios, enough for him to re-enter his rage mode. And this is Tigrex returning for the second time. But if you keep an eye on Brachydios here, he's using his slam combo attack, which when he slams into the ground he leaves slime behind, but because one of his arms is broken he's only leaving half the amount of slimes that he normally would. So what you want to do really is go left or go right. Don't try and go for the iframes forward and backwards because I believe it's harder than it looks. Also there's a lot of slinger ammo here, so you want to go for wall bangs as much as possible. I was able to get a double wall bang apparently, which I didn't know was possible until it happened right in front of me. But it was pretty cool. And to finish off that perfect wall bang, I was able to break his head. That means slime cannot be entered onto his face and to his fist. Now, his jumping attack is one of the more annoying attacks because he does it to close the ground. So whenever you're trying to get away to heal up, resharpen or anything, that's when he'll use it. Just try to predict it as much as possible and try to learn the movements. You generally see him reel back before he does it. There are also headbutts and tail attacks that I haven't mentioned in this, but they're very self-explanatory. The headbutt will headbutt straight into the ground, releasing a lot of slime onto the ground, so basically he hits you and then blows you up. Very nice. And the tail attack is just very, very standard. At this point in the fight, I knew he was very weak. He even just tried to run. So I was planning to put down the trap, double trank bomb. But Tigrex had different plans because apparently they're best friends for life.
Why are you the way that you are?
And where the fight started is where it will end. This is where Brachydios makes his final stand, and is the best place to put down a trap and use your trank bombs. Through hunting this guy so many times for this video, I really hope he makes a return in Wild. And I really hope that you guys like my video. Let me know if the guide helped you in any way. And let me know what you've hoped to see in Wild as well. So, until the next video guys, hasta luego!